Hello everyone and welcome to this week's PS4 O'Clock. Now I thought this week I would do a run through of 2014's PS4 release dates. It's going to be quite rough. There's probably going to be some stuff that changes in between me recording this and it coming out. The dates move around all the time. If there's anything that isn't right or there's anything I've missed, drop a comment in and put it in there. I'm going to also avoid any of the obvious stuff like FIFA and COD. You know, we always know when they're coming. And I'm just going to run through, pick out sort of the biggest stuff that's coming along. Starting with what you can see behind me, Drive Club. Now that is down for an early 2014 release after being delayed last year. It's just been rated by the ERSB, which suggests it's going to be quite soon. So I suspect we will be seeing a release date for that in the very near future. Also down for 2014, early 2014 I should say, is The Witness. So that's Jonathan Blow's puzzle island game. It's one of the PlayStation indie sort of titles, exploring an island, solving puzzles. It looks quite nice, and that's down for early 2014. Moving into the first quarter of 2014, we've got Outlast, which is a survival horror game from Red Barrels. There's no sort of conflict, you have a camera, you have to explore an asylum. I played this on PC and it's excellent, very scary. If you like survival horror, this is a top tip for the year. Cannot recommend it enough. It's also followed up in the same period by Daylight, which is again another survival horror, no conflict, you've just got a torch and a sort of a scanner thing. But this one is procedurally generated, so it's a sort of a different experience each time. Moving on, there's Towerfall Ascension, which is a sort of 4-player platformer deathmatch thing, shooting arrows, jumping around. It's a bit in a similar vein to Samurai Gun, which is out later in the year. We've also got PlanetSide 2, which is Sony Online Entertainment's big online multiplayer shooter. It's been out for a while on PC, it's coming to PS4 in this first quarter. The big thing that this brings with it is that it is thousands of people playing online. It's not kind of tens of people or even hundreds of people. It's promising thousands of online players at once, which should make some fairly impressive battles. If 64 players on Battlefield 4 looks good when it works, this should blow that out of the water. And then finishing up the first quarter of 2004, we've got Twin Punchers, which is a twin-stick kind of deathmatch shooter. Moving on to February, we've got a few games coming out. We've got Rayman Legends, we've got the Lego Movie video game, and we've also got Dynasty Warriors 8, which is out on February the 22nd. But the big title, I think, for that month will be Thief, which you can see behind me, Square Enix's rebooted stealth game. I really like what I've seen of this so far. I'm a big fan of stealth gameplay, I love the series. I'm hoping it will be as good as I remember the old games being. They do seem to be quite sort of responsive to feedback, so they've dropped XP, they've sort of changed things according to what people do and don't like. So we'll see what happens there on February the 28th. Moving on to March, we have Natural Doctrine, which is a strategy RPG, a very kind of JRPG looking game. If you like the sort of the Shin Megami series, Persona, that sort of thing, I think that'll be right up your street. We've also got Octodad, the Dadliest Catch, which everyone loves. You play a secret octopus who's trying not to give himself away. It's sort of a comedy physical platformer. But there's a couple of big names coming out in March. On the 20th we've got Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. So this is the prequel tutorial for Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. All we know about this is this kind of tutorial prologue that's going to set up the open world of The Phantom Pain. You have to infiltrate a Cuban military base, you have to rescue Paz and Chico. But how big it is, what sort of experience it's going to offer, we don't know. It's just going to be this sort of transition from old linear style Metal Gear Solid through to the new open world style of The Phantom Pain. We've also got on March the 21st Infamous Second Son. Now I'm really excited about this. I know it's essentially a kind of tarted up version of the last Infamous. Gameplay wise it looks largely identical, but it looks so fluid, it looks so pretty. I'm really kind of looking forward to just going crazy in that world and being able to sort of explore it in such a sort of a fluid way. You can see behind me, it looks lovely. Coming up after that in April, we've got Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Now it had a shaky start on PC, it didn't review very well, but it has been, as the title suggests, reborn. The reviews sort of for the PS3 version and this kind of rejigged reboot almost have been very positive. It's a very kind of traditional MMO, lots of kind of grinding. Apparently the progression as you sort of level up is very nice, as you kind of get more advanced equipment, better monsters. It's traditional, but apparently it's a much better experience than it was when it initially launched. Moving into spring 2014, we've got MLB 14 The Show, but obviously the biggest name is going to be Watch Dogs, because it's obviously delayed from launch. Spring is its new release window, so hopefully we'll get a closer date nearer to that point. There's also, in the second quarter of 2014, Oddworld New and Tasty, the HD remake of the PS1 classic Abe's Odyssey. And penciled in for a May 5th date is EA Sports UFC, so that'll be their first run at the UFC license after taking over from THQ. Moving into mid-2014, we've got Hyper Light Drifter, which is a lovely looking top-down action RPG, but the big name around this time will be June, which is when the Elder Scrolls Online is due to come out. Now, it's essentially an MMO version of Skyrim, of the Elder Scrolls experience. How it's going to go down, we will have to wait and see, because it's a box product, a full retail 40-50 quid game, and then there's a £9 a month, $8.99 subscription on top of that. So it's going to have to be really good, I think, to get people to pay regularly for what is now sort of seen as a free-to-play model. There's also Soul Saga, which is a lovely looking retro RPG, another Kickstarter project. It's a proper classic kind of turn-based RPG, really harking back to the old days. And that brings us into quarter 3 of 2014, which has The Crew, Ubisoft's social kind of racer, but most importantly Dragon Age Inquisition, which is using the Frostbite engine. There's keep management, there's sort of strategy elements. It looks like a real sort of step up from the maybe not as good as it could have been Dragon Age 2. Now, as we move into the last part of 2014, the biggest name we've got to look forward to is Destiny, which is locked into a September 9th release date. This is Bungie's MMO, always-on co-op shooter, and it kind of dwarfs pretty much anything else that's coming out in a similar kind of window. Now, moving into the last quarter of 2014, we've got things like Civilization, which is a third-person shooter. There's Alien Isolation, which was announced last week, and there is The Division. Now, this is currently penciled in, as I say, for the last quarter of 2014, but the rumours circulating at the moment say it's going to be 2015. Apparently the engine isn't finished. They've got sort of a good tech demo, but they haven't got a finished game. So it looks likely that while that's down for the end of 2014, we won't see it until 2015. Now, to round up what's left, we've got a few other games that don't currently have any date other than just a general 2014. That includes things like Dying Light, which is Techland's free-running zombie game. It's basically kind of a cross between Dead Island and Mirror's Edge. I know they hate that comparison, but it's the best way of describing it. There's Samurai Gun, which is the really kind of Twitch deathmatch indie arcade battler. And there's Wolfenstein: The New Order. So that's a rundown of the most prominent games coming out in 2014. As I said, if I've missed any or the dates have changed, leave a comment. And also, if there's anything else you'd like to see PS4 cover next week, leave a comment, and I shall see you then.